Hi, Omega Chaos here again with another Yu-Gi-Oh! Deck profile, and this time I'm showing my Millennium Exodia deck. So, obviously Exodia got some new support, but now this deck works completely differently. You don't really focus on the win condition anymore. Obviously you could focus on the win condition, but I think it's you're probably going to win faster with the rest of the engine than the win condition. It's a pretty simple deck, I would say. You can kind of treat it as a stun deck as well. It also plays shifter, so that is really broken. So I guess let's go to the deck. First of course, all the Exodia pieces. So the Exodia, the 40 for V and 1, the left arm, the right arm, left leg, and the right leg. All those Exodia pieces. Unfortunately, in this particular version, of course, they are pretty much bricks, but of course you can still use them for virtual temple and stuff like that. So definitely still very nice. So then I'm using 3 Engine Wakes for Millennium. Obviously one of the main starter cards. You then of course most of the Millennium Monsters effects are that you have to either pay 2000 life points or reveal a Millennium Monk, and then you can spell one turn and get a search of a particular card. So in this case you search for a Millennium Monster. Then really nice card. Obviously the one downside of this card is that you play into troll with this card. Then I'm using 3 Shield of the Millennium Dynasty. Pretty much searches for the Millennium Monk from the deck, more or less. It then has all the other effects as well. Obviously in the future we will get another Millennium card that's going to be like a new Blue Eyes, that you can search your Millennium Monk directly by discarding it, so that's going to help this deck quite a lot. Then I'm using 2 Golem that cards the Millennium Treasures. Pretty good as well, as all of the other effects, and also search for Virtual Temple, but of course it's not as good, but still definitely very nice. Then I'm using 1 Crystal Beast Cobalt Eagle, because I'm using the Crystal Beast engine in this deck to search out my field spells. Obviously, it's just a necessity. Using this over any other Crystal Beast, because it can put itself back to the top of the deck. If you throw it, you can put it back to the top of the deck, and then your Foolish Plural Goods is alive again, more or less. If you didn't throw the trap, for example. And of course, you don't really use your normal summon very often in this deck. Then, for some non-engine, using 3 Dimension Shifter. Obviously, a really broken card. Should be banned. Obviously this card doesn't really conflict with this deck much at all, aside from the Foolish Plural Goods engine maybe. Then of course still using the 3 Ash Blossom, always still one of the best hand traps, so very obvious. Now let's see the spells and traps. So of course using the main card, 3 Millennium Monk. Obviously it's the main way to summon out your big fusion monster. You have to reveal your 5 Forbidden 1 monsters from your deck, hand or field. So that's kind of a downside, I guess. You have to play all the Exodia bricks. Also put this back to the deck as well after activating it. And also you cannot summon any other monsters for the rest of the turn. Definitely very nice. Then using 1 Obligate Blaze. It's your main way to attack your opponent, because you can pay half your life points. You give that effect to your Exodia Fusion, for example. Then pay half your life points. Destroy all of the cards in the spell trap zones, so it's kind of like Heavy Storm as well. And then you equip all of the Exodia pieces to that fusion monster, and then it gains a 200 attack for each piece equipped to it, so it will have 2/10 attack points, then easily attack your opponent, and also that monster also gains piercing damage as well. So all around, very nice. Then I'm using 2 Virtual Temple. It's kind of another starter, but it's not as good, of course, as starter 1 card starters. It's kind of like a 1.5 starter, basically. Then I'm using 1 Sacred Rules of the Spellcasters, because the main fusion is a Spellcaster monster, so you can easily use this to lock out your opponent from using spell cards. Then using, of course, 1 Terraforming, because it has Search at Virtual Temple or Sacred Village. 3 Foolish Plural Goods to send that Crystal Beast tap to the graveyard, definitely very nice. Then using 1 Cold Grave, of course. Sometimes hand traps can hurt this deck quite a bit, for example Ghost Ogre. Then 1 Exot Fires of Rage. of the main disruptions in this deck. So you can set it with your Exodia Fusion, and then if you control it, you can destroy almost all cards your opponent controls, and has extra graveyard effects as well, which can be relevant sometimes. Then using one Obliterate as well. Definitely pretty good disruption as well. Also sends Exodia pieces to the graveyard as well, which of course is not really that useful in this deck, but all around it's just pretty good. Then using one Zero Hat Trick that of course I played Zero Hat Rabbit in Dex deck, so it's definitely pretty good for that. Just really good interruption. And then I'm using Angel Statue Azure as well, which can also set with the Zero Hat Rabbit card. It's pretty much like a Black Horn of Heaven, pretty much on legs. It's definitely pretty nice. Then using one Rainbow Bridge of Salvation, of course, for that Crystal Beast engine to search at fiat spells. Definitely very nice. Obviously, it's really bad to draw, obviously. And of course, the last cards in the main deck are 3 Infinite Permanents, obviously. I think still one of the best hand traps in the game. Now, let's see the X deck. This is actually not the full X deck, because I couldn't really figure out what else to put in. More or less, mostly you don't really use it that much. You use it, of course, mostly it's just Summon Fusion and Rabbit. The rest of the cards are just options, more or less. You can put in more random stuff in here if you want. So first, of course, the main card, your main boss monster, is the Unstoppable Exodia Incarnate. Really amazing. It cannot be destroyed by card effects. You can negate the spell or tap card once per turn. It also, if you attack or it is attacked, basically if it battles, it gains attack points equal to your life points. And also in the end phase, you can set an Exode or a Brilliant spell trap card to your spell trap zone. And that works in each end phase, so your own and your opponent's as well. So mostly you can set your the extra 5 fires of rage, for example, to your field. Then you have disruption and spell trap negate, stuff like that. Definitely very nice. Then I'm using one Access Code Talker. I guess if you can go into it. Then one Nightmare Unicorn. Pretty good for removal, I guess. One Nightmare Phoenix to destroy back row if you need to. One Nightmare Kerberos, destroy monsters in the main monster zone. One Espeluznite Knight, obviously, still the best link monster in the game. And of course the last card is that one Zero Hat Rabbit to set those trap monsters from my deck and can act as another interruption basically then. So this was my Millennium Exodia deck profile. I think this deck definitely has a lot of potential. This deck is pretty low ceiling, but you can set up those interruptions extremely easily without doing a lot basically. This deck plays around Nibiru, for example, because you're going to only do maximum of 4 summons. This definitely one of the upsides of the deck. But of course it can play into some hand traps like Ghost Ogre, for example, and Ash can sometimes hurt as well. So, I hope you enjoyed this Yu-Gi-Oh! Deck profile. For now, goodbye and Omakios. Out.